over the space of the next half hour or so, I'm going to explain a little bit more about what it is that we actually do, how what we do impacts your health, and how you can help yourself as much as possible as well. So I'm going to start, let me just do this, by explaining who I am. Now, some of you may know who I am because some of you have seen me, but for those of you who don't know, my name's Neil Folker. I'm the principal chiropractor in the centre, and just to give you a bit of background, I graduated way back in 1982, and I've been in this wonderful profession ever since. And we founded Norwich Spinal Health as Norwich Chiropractic way back in 1985. And so we've been serving the community for that long. And so I'm the principal, as I say, and some of you see James, some of you see Bronwyn. On this call as well, she's made it, well done, is Michelle, who is our business manager. Let me just see. See, when I go to this, I lose my mouse, so I've no idea how I can bring Michelle in. She's on mute video at the moment, so but I'll talk a little bit about Michelle as we go through. So that's who I am, and my job, as I say, is to help you understand more about what it is that we're doing and give you some information to help you get the best from your results. So we're going to talk about health. So we're going to talk about what is health and what we actually do to help you. So when we talk about health, I've started the next slide early. See, I told you I'm not the world's best on Zoom. So when we talk about health, oftentimes people, when we talk to people in the street, or when we do some, way back when we used to do screenings in the malls and in the library and so on, we would talk to people about health and ask people, what is health? And oftentimes people would say, well, it's feeling okay. Well, it's much, much more than that, as we're going to explain. Your symptoms are an indication that you're not well, but you can be unwell and not have symptoms, as we'll see as we go through. So the second point I was making on that slide is, what do we do here? So we do chiropractic, we have osteomyologists as well, James and Bronwyn, and we've got more coming on board with that. We're not doing massage at the moment because of the whole COVID restriction thing, but we've replaced that with something called Theragun massage, which is an amazing piece of equipment that we've acquired that does the equivalent in like half an hour, in 15 minutes of this percussive massage. It's really brilliant. We're getting such amazing good feedback from the people who've had this Theragun massage, so watch out for that. And the K-laser treatment, which reduces inflammation, aids wound healing. There are so many things that the K-laser does. Those of you who received it will probably be able to vouch for that. So as I say, health is not just the absence of symptoms. So it's a condition, this is from Dorland's Medical Dictionary. True health is a condition of optimum physical and mental and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. In other words, it's not just not having symptoms, as I say. It's about being at your best in all areas of life. So what we want to do is to help people to be as healthy as possible. And we do that through the techniques that we use, but also talking to people about their diet and so on, to help people as much as possible to be as healthy as possible. Now, why do we need to do all this? Well, for better health, we really do not need more of the things that are in this picture. So drugs and surgery are not the answer. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes they are necessary. You know, most drugs are designed to reduce the symptoms. There are a few exceptions. Insulin, for example, is not reducing your symptoms, it's actually treating the actual problem. And let's touch slightly on the contentious one, vaccines. Vaccines are not treating the symptoms. So drugs and surgery sometimes are the answer. If you get hit by a truck, going to see a homeopath isn't going to do you any good. So the doctors are very good at putting all the bits back in the right place and sewing you up again. So we do need that. But our healthcare system is generally flawed for the chronic conditions. Giving people painkillers for a mechanical problem, in other words, a chemical solution to a physical problem, is not right. you wouldn't throw a drowning man a fire extinguisher. It needs to be the right thing for the right problem. So if you have a mechanical problem, you need a mechanical solution. And your health comes from within. If your body's working at its best, your body will automatically regulate your health. But if there's something going wrong with your body, in particular with your self-repair mechanism, then obviously you can't be as healthy as you would like to be. So medicine generally tries to stop people going into the red in the sickness. What we're trying to do is to help people go into the green and to be as healthy as possible. So your body truly is an amazing structure. So think about this for a second. Your body consists of 70 trillion cells. Now that's an enormous number. I don't know, nobody actually counted them. And if you look in different places, you'll get a different number. But what your body can do is it can take, I'll use a nice healthy example, but it'll do the same with a Snickers bar or whatever. It can take a satsuma and turn that into new eyeball cells or new liver cells or new any bits of you, if you like, because your body will transmute these things that you take in into new bits of you. You are quite literally what you eat. So you couldn't take a satsuma to a laboratory in the world and say, turn this into liver cells. But your body does this on a daily basis, and we kind of take it for granted. Now, your body does all these amazing things with a plan, and that plan is encoded in your DNA. Now, I'll take a little sidebar on DNA for a moment. All too often, people think things are genetic. Oh, yeah, I have a bad back because my dad had a bad back and his mum before him and so on. No, most things are actually acquired. They're familial things sometimes, in as much as, yes, your parents have had back problems and so do you because you walk the same way that they do, or we live the same lifestyles. You know, we're straining our back because we're a plasterer just like our dad was or whatever. So some things are familial, but only relatively small number of things are actually genetic. And talking of genes, and genes, as I say, run our body. And as long as there's no interference with that, your body will function at its very best. And all of that is encompassed in the phrase, your innate intelligence. And your innate intelligence is the inborn wisdom in your body. Because if you cut yourself, you don't have to sit there and think, right, I need some blood cells, I need fibrinogen, I need vitamin K. You don't have to think about that. All of that is taken care of without you giving it a moment's thought. It's the same as your heart rate, your stomach activity, all of that. And that comes through your nervous system. And I'm going to come back to your nervous system in a moment. But first of all, let's consider how your body, this amazing body, is built. So what happens? How does it start? Well, we sort of know how it starts. But if we take the very beginning, you have an egg and a sperm, they join together, and then this little egg now will split in two. And it doesn't do it quite like this. And then it will split and split and split and split again until you end up with a little clump of cells, still way too small for you to see. But out of that, some cells start to differentiate. Little dot at the top and a line below it. And this is called the primitive streak. And this is your nervous system. Literally, you know, a few cells now. And this coordinates the creation of the rest of your body. And so from here, little buds form up to create your heart, your lungs, your liver, and so on, all the other bits and pieces of you. So your nervous system is the very first thing to be formed. And it's that controls everything else. And that carries on through your whole life. So your nervous system is the thing that controls everything. What happens is the key to your health is how your body functions. Everything has to work together 100% all the time. So if function is the key to your health, what controls your body's function? And I mentioned it already, it's your brain and your nervous system. So your brain and nervous system controls and coordinates the functions of all the tissues, organs, and systems in the body and enables your body to relate to and adapt to its environment. So in order for your body to be able to exist and work in your environment, it has to be able to adapt. So if you get too hot, you perspire. If you get too cold, you shiver, all those sorts of things. But there are lots and lots of other adaptive processes that your body will do. And for it to be able to do that, it's important that it recognizes your surroundings and your internal environment, so on. And so your nervous system perceives all this and controls how your body functions. So we have this little diagram here. Now, in real life, when we used to do this in situ, in the center, I have a great big sort of safety pin. Really, I should bring it home and sort of use it on the Zoom call. But we have this great big sort of model like this. And if you look at the top of the diagram, that circle there represents your brain cells. And one side, arrows going down to your tissue cells or an organ in your body. And then the arrow going up is the messages going back. So let's take an example of your stomach. Your brain controls your stomach, as it does indeed control everything. So you take in some food, your message is sent through to your stomach to produce the right amount of acid and enzymes and so on to break down the food. All well and good. So when there's enough acid and the enzymes have been produced and everything's, you know, just as it should be, a message goes back to your brain saying, got enough acid, don't need any more. And so that will shut that down. Now, all well and good, but if the messages don't get through and there's some interference with your nervous system, then one of two things will happen. Either your brain is not managing to tell your stomach to produce acid and you'll get all sorts of chronic malabsorption syndromes from things like that. Or, and this happens a lot, the message from your body back to your brain, from your stomach back to your brain to say we've got enough acid doesn't get through. Your body keeps producing more and more acid. And honestly, I've lost track of the number of people who come into us for back pain or something. And when we go through any other things you tend to suffer from, oh yeah, chronic acid reflux and hiatus hernia and indigestion and so on. And one of the reasons I believe that that's so endemic nowadays is that the nerve supply to your stomach comes from the bit between your shoulder blades. And what happens, we all sit here like we are doing now, looking into computers and peering and getting that sort of bit between your shoulder blades. And so that interferes with nerve supply to the stomach and people get chronic acid indigestion. So this model here of how your brain and your body communicate, fairly obviously, we call it the safety pin cycle. That's what it looks like. And it's a good metaphor for how your body and brain communicate. So if you've been into us and you've had the report findings, you'll recognize this sheet on the right-hand side here. This is a model of your nervous system. Now, it's a very, very brief sort of diagrammatic representation of it. It's much, much more complicated than that. And it shows on there the three types of your nervous system. There's your central nervous system, your brain and your spinal cord. And the nerves branch off of that to come through the little holes either side of your spine to produce your peripheral nervous system, which is the bit on the left-hand side of the illustration there. So all these nerves, separate levels in different parts of your spine, all supply different parts. There's a nerve that supplies your thumb and forefinger, another one that supplies your middle finger and that side of this finger, and then there's another nerve that supplies that side of this finger and this one here, C6, 7, and 8. And so all of these nerves follow pathways, and these nerves carry light touch, temperature sensitivity, something called proprioception, pain. Pain is not the only thing that nerves carry. And only 1 in 10 of the nerves in your body carry pain. So, and also the messages to your muscles and so on. Now, the last part of your nervous system, the third part, is the bit on the right-hand side, which is your autonomic nervous system. This is where your innate intelligence that I talked about before sits. This is the communication between your brain and the rest of your body. So the nerves run from different parts of your spine to your heart, lungs, liver, stomach, pancreas, and so on. Now, those nerves come out of the same holes that the nerves that supply your arm and so on do. So they can be interfered with in just the same way. So when you get a problem in your spine, what we call the vertebral subluxation complex, bits of your spine that get stuck or restricted or out of position because you've strained it from lifting or stress or whatever. What will happen is the nerves can be affected, so you get pins and needles or pain or whatever in your arm, but that can also interfere with the nerve supply to your organs. But you can be unaware of that. In just the same way that the nerves to your body carry pins and needles and pain stuff, the nerves that go to your heart and lungs, they don't carry that at all. They carry the messages to tell your heart how fast to beat and so on. So if you do get a problem with those nerves, you may be unaware that you've got a spine problem causing that. You may just think, I'm getting tachycardia, or I'm getting chronic acid indigestion, or liver problems. So what chiropractic does, and osteomyology, all the treatments that we do, is to make sure we get rid of these problems in your spine, to remove the interference with your nervous system. So as it says there, spinal malfunction produces nerve interference, leading to body malfunction and a loss of health. So it's much more than just getting rid of your pain and your pins and needles and so on. Now that's important, but we also want to make sure your body works as well as it can. So these subluxations, what causes them? So the most obvious cause is the physical stuff. And this is where most people think their problems come from, understandably. The birth process, that's why you might see us taking care of babies and small children in the practice. Birth's a fairly traumatic event. Jolly good, John, none of us remember it. So, you know, forceps deliveries and C-sections and things can have quite a profound effect on a baby's spine. Falls, accidents, knocks, bangs, all the sort of things that we ask you about, all of those can have a cumulative effect over time. Car accidents, fairly obvious thing in and of themselves. Whiplash injuries and the like. Most people think of whiplash injuries as big high-speed things. If you're sitting wrong or you get caught wrong, you can get whiplash at 10 miles an hour. So don't overlook the importance of the car accidents. Sports injuries, from people playing sport too much to people not playing it properly and so on. And workplace strains. Now, workplace strains doesn't just mean lifting wrongly and twisting or, you know, all that. This can be the chronic strain from somebody sitting at a checkout or somebody sitting at a laptop and getting stiff neck and so on. So that's the physical things. There's lots and lots of other causes, obviously, within that. But there's chemical things that can affect you as well. Your diet, so too much caffeine, aspartame, artificial sweeteners, all of these things, they can affect your nervous system. Toxins and pollutants, there are things that we breathe in or some of the things that we're exposed to that can affect our nervous system. And dehydration. Do drink plenty of water. I know we bang on about that, but it really does make a difference. And so dehydration, you know, as I said to people, I was talking to somebody only today who drinks 1 glass of water a day. I said, look, the discs between your vertebrae are a bit like sponges. Now, you can either have nice, wet, moist sponges, which move around, or you can have bits of dried up old loofah. Your body needs water to maintain all that. So it's important to get plenty of water. And the last thing that can cause subluxation, something we've all experienced over 2020 and 2021 now, is stress. Stress can be a profound effect. Lots of people are coming in with tension in between their shoulder blades, but stress doesn't just affect people here. It can affect your neck, or some people their stress will go to tension in their low back. So stress is a problem. Grief, anxiety, work worries, all of these things can build up, and they can both affect your nervous system directly and indirectly by causing muscle tension. So there's lots of things that can cause our body to go wrong. It doesn't have to be something major. I've had people come and see me before now because they stepped off the curb wrongly and jarred their neck and they end up with a chronic headache or something. So unfortunately, life happens to us and we get subluxated fairly often. So this is another one of the pictures in the report. So this is a recap of how your body functions. So you start off in the black arrow, going downhill with all the stresses of life, and physical, chemical, what have you. And eventually it gets bad enough that you start to get symptoms. That's when your body rings the alarm bell. You come and see us and we start to get you on the road to recovery. The first thing we do is the relief care, which is generally where most people are when they come onto the school. They're in the early stages of their care to get you free of symptoms, to get you above that symptom, no symptom line. And then once we've got you that far, we don't want to just leave you so that everything then comes back again. So we want to get you working well enough so that we can make sure that you're not going to get symptoms in the future unless you do anything crazy. So we do take you through the rebuild program, which is to get your spine to be as strong as possible. And then for a lot of people, some degree of wellness care, some maintenance to safeguard against all the stresses and strains that we're under is a good idea, but we can discuss that with you in your care. So the care we provide is a number of things. It's a science of locating the subluxations, which is why we have the X-ray facility and so on. It's the art of reducing them, whether by hand or using the activator, to help people to function as well as they can. And also a different philosophy of health. We have a different way of looking at things. It's not all about just trying to reduce the symptoms. We want to help people to be as healthy as they possibly can. And it's for everyone, you know, from babies to, I think our oldest patient's about 95. So there's a fairly wide age range. And as I say, we adjust people to correct their spines and nervous systems. Some of those photographs are pre-COVID, you might notice, or mid-COVID when we were just wearing visors. So there are lots of ways that we adjust people to correct that. There's lots of different techniques that we use. And we've helped over the years tens of thousands of people with all sorts of different problems. You don't have to be a gym bunny like top left. And likewise, just to reassure you, you don't have to do the bottom right-hand corner. It's not the passing out ceremony. You don't have to do the splits. It's all right. Interesting story about that young lady. She's a dancer, as you can guess, and she's actually the daughter of the lady top middle doing her garden. And she came to see us with a really bad knee when she was just about to go to dancing school. And she was desperate because she really wanted to go. Unfortunately, it was in Slough, which is my hometown. It's an awful place. I told her not to go, but she went anyway. And she was in quite a lot of pain. Anyway, we took care of her over the holidays and so on, and took care of her. She came back to get adjusted when she could. And at the end of her first year, she won the prize for best student. So we were really chuffed for her. And we've taken care of her mum, as I say, and now we're actually taking care of her daughter as well. So it's a family concern, I suppose you'd say. So as I say, we've helped tens of thousands of people with lots of different problems over the years. So this is our team. Now, I don't know that I've worked out the way to get all the things to all come up at the same time. So it's sort of sequential, but we're getting there. And as you can see, there is Michelle, mid-right. Hello, Michelle. I can see you on the screen there. I don't know how to get you up on the screen, but Michelle is our practice manager, but she's also our patient advocate. So she's the person that you'll be able to communicate with, and if you've got any queries, you can go to Michelle. Michelle is an absolutely wonderful person, a real diamond in our team. And so if you've got any questions anytime at all or any concerns, please do contact Michelle, and she'll be able to help you, I'm sure. So now I'll get this thing come up with the running out of time. So, and I have no idea how to get rid of that. So I'm going to just hope that it does disappear. Oh, hold on. There we go. No, well, there we go. So we're going to talk a bit about your muscles, not those muscles, but your back muscles, because your muscles are really crucial. And one of the things that we do is we have the massage therapists normally. So now we're using the Theragun, but the idea is that what we're doing is to help your muscles to function as well as possible, because they can sometimes lock in the pattern of dysfunction in your spine, and we want to make sure that we keep people working as well as possible. So we have some hand-picked massage therapists who can assist you. Muscle tension can be very detrimental to your long-term condition. And if we get rid of the tension in the muscles, not only will your body function better, but you'll feel a lot better too. So there are lots of ways that we can help people with that. And as I say, the Theragun is really very useful at doing this. So there are little trigger points and knots in the fibers that build up. And we use a number of different techniques to get rid of those so that your muscles can slide in. They're like a ratchet system, so they slide across one another. And so that stops everything locking up and contributing to the problems that you've had. So, oops, let's go down. It is a great boon to your care. And as it says there, it feels great too. So even though the Theragun is a shorter thing and in some ways a little bit more intense, the feeling afterwards is really quite profound. People feel a lot better as a result of getting these knots out of the muscles. So just to finish off, I'm going to give you some tips to help you with your care. So you can either write these down or you can do a screenshot or whatever you like. So number one, I've said it before, drink plenty of water. It really does help. Your body will definitely function much better if you don't drink enough water. Don't think about the 8 glasses a day thing. You don't need that. As long as you're getting some decent fresh food, you'd probably get away with about 4 glasses of water. But water, not the Volvic flavored stuff, because that's all got artificial sweeteners. Water as water. Secondly, eat organic wherever possible. It does make a difference. You don't want to be full of pesticides and all sorts of things like that. So if you can eat organic, it will make a difference to you. Stay positive. There was a study that showed that people with a positive outlook on life live about 7 to 10 years longer than pessimists. And I think that's great. If you're one of life's pessimists, you're probably thinking, oh God, that's me done for. But no, staying positive will make a difference to you. And there are lots of books you can read on self-help to have more of a positive outlook on life. Walk regularly. Walking is important. You don't have to put pink lycra on and go for a run on Sunday morning. Walking is important, and it will help you to stay healthier. Obviously, if you're in a really bad way, limit that at the beginning. And avoid hyperextending. Don't arch backwards too much, particularly at this time of year. People are putting heavy boxes back up in the loft full of Christmas decorations, so watch out for that. And painting ceilings and so on, that can be a danger. Take a good omega-3 oil. A good fish oil will help you, and that helps your body in any number of ways, and we can talk to you about that. Get plenty of sleep. Your body, to repair itself, needs sleep in order to be able to take care of all the tissue repair and repair muscles, tendons, ligaments, and so on. So you need rest to do that. And lastly, do the exercises we give you and stick to the plan. Over the years, we've refined all the plans that we do, so we know from experience, having 38 years experience, what tends to work for people. So do stick with the recommendations. That way, you're much, much, much more likely to get the results that you want. So if you follow all those, there's no reason why you shouldn't do really, really well with your care. And lastly, just a tempting offer to close with, because I've got about a minute. If one of your nearest and dearest wants to book in with us, and you book in tomorrow, and as it says there, it is only tomorrow. We only do this Wednesday morning, and you quote yesterday's class, those words, we will give you a free consultation. That's worth £65. So, if there's somebody that you care about that needs to get this sorted out or needs to get their health sorted, please do tell them, give us a call on that number. You've got a number anyway, I'm sure. And we'll book you in a free consultation. You just have to call tomorrow. Don't have to book it for tomorrow, but you have to call tomorrow. So thank you very much for listening. I've got 15 seconds. How's that? So thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I love my animations.
Lovely.
Bye.
Very informative. Bye-bye.